So Trish at Beanbaghagwag, beans get the pun, asked me to spill the beans. So, okay then, here we go. So let's answer these questions and spill the beans. So question number 1 and 2, New Year's resolutions, yay or nay, and why? Well, the books say that we can raise and send energy. We can use our focus and our intent to make things work. So why have I got some goals that I've written year after year after year? Why self-sabotage? If I'm really a witch, then why isn't every goal I'm going after happening? And then I came across one of the first notes. Magic takes effort and work. You can't just think it, it takes action. And there are layers, well layered, like weight loss. I wanted to lose weight for years, but there are so many layers to that. There's emotional and mental health, environmental factors, your physical abilities, there's family of origin issues, there's trauma responses. Just within that one goal. No wonder this Kanban board sat empty, because for me the biggest layer in my world is overwhelm. Overwhelm can stop me, so I'm putting some new tags on for my 22 of 22 here. Yes, I love New Year's resolutions. I love goal setting. I am putting 22 goals in place, or New Year's resolutions, that will encourage me with my word of the year, my phrase of the year, which is slow living freedom, to slow down, to be gentle on myself, to embrace nothingness, to make more space, to declutter the house, to make environments calm, but also to get outside more, to chase down adventure, but to chase it down unhurried, to take the rush out of life, less, all the time, less. Without that intent in New Year's resolutions, I think they can very quickly become a stick to beat us with the should-haves, or a flood to overwhelm ourselves into hurrying and rushing. I do not want to feel hurried anymore. And unmet goals induce shame. I'm shedding shame by following a witchcraft path. I don't want to put that mantle back on myself. Do you know what? This year I'm going to set my goals on my Kanban board for my worst self, not my best self, because sometimes I'm just too tired. I need to be able to do what goes up on here on one of my worst days, not my best. Question 3 and 4. What is your favourite colour or colours? And does your favourite colour hold magical and emotional meaning? Well, I class myself as an art witch. So all the colours have emotional meaning to me and significance. I think not only as an artist, but as a witch, colours evoke a lot of power. This is my altered book grimoire. You can see it's got Frida Kahlo on the front, the Queen of Colour. And you can see in my tarot study book as well, there's oil paintings full of colour, and on the walls of my house as well. But after my divorce, I did paint the whole house from purple to white, just so that I could breathe a bit better. And I loved the white because it made all the rest of the rainbow colours pop. Look at that combination, pink and turquoise, just wonderful. So I love white as a backdrop for rainbow colours, but I do love purple still, and I think that's why I'm often drawn to amethysts. Purples and blues and greens, I think, are my most favourite. After a flood, I changed my kitchen to this sea blue to evoke peace and calm and the feeling of the sea when I could no longer go to Wales. So blues, greens, neutral colours remind me of nature and those big skies that I needed to breathe. Black is the Morrigan, white reminds me of Bridget, purple is magic. The colours are so important, you wouldn't expect any less from an art witch, surely. Question number 5 and 6. Do you use substances for divination or meditation, flying oils or herbs or alcohol? Why or why not? As a single mom of 3 kids, one child with Smith-Magenis syndrome, my single and only substance of choice to be able to continue on this path is dark, black, rich coffee. I don't drink alcohol. The only oil in my cupboard is olive oil. What even are flying oils? It sounds fascinating. Herbs, it's something that I want to get into more this growing season. But as for now, coffee it is. Question 7. What is your most favourite part of your practice? There are so many parts there. There's being out in nature and collecting stones. And then feeling the power of that place. So genius loci for me is important within, like, say, soil collected like here, all the rocks that you find, or found objects like feathers. Then there's my tarot and oracle practice, which I've started charm casting on, which I adore. And this taught me that I personify objects like toys, especially these toys. This little grouping is very, very important. With art as well, I'm an art witch. Look, you can see more toys here with crystals. This all actually has intent within it. Personifying objects is quite important to me. I see my kids do it. I also see my kids start doing artwork. Then my deity walk with the Morrigan and Bridget and the Dagda. You can see here some drawings and paintings that I use for that walk. And then other artwork that is literally been releasing spells and healing spells. So there's painting, there's drawing, there's mixed media, machine embroidery. There's using lines here to heal. I protected myself drawing lines. Then using animal energy as well. Look, squares and patterns and colours, all of these symbols within art. And then you have moments like this where you're trying to draw how you felt in trauma, and you turn your drawing upside down and the map has drawn the woman for you. Magic moments like that as an art witch. If you want to see the story behind this piece, then I'll link the video below and the playlist for Inktober. And my least favourite part of my practice is the overwhelm I've experienced through being sucked in by consumerism. Look at all of these unread books, and there's tarot decks in those cases. I've been decluttering. Look at all the space above. I'm in a no-buy year. I'm going to step away from the consumerist part of my practice to breathe. Question 9. How do I feel my practice has grown in time? Well, I came to my practice late, in my 50s, so I felt too old to be a baby anything. And over the last couple of years, I've realised that my life experience and my art practice was me practising witchcraft before I even realised what I was doing. I was using repetition, especially line drawing, almost like a meditation and a mantra to step into altered states. I'd got sigils and shapes representing different things. I'd got layering going on. And I think my practice has mirrored my art in the fact that it has become more layered. I've layered my life skills onto my witchcraft practice over time, just like I layer my artwork with, say, ink drawings or paper cutting or textiles. I think accepting that my life skills and particularly my art practice have evoked spell work over time was massively helpful for me. Is there a show or movie that inspires you? Well, I don't really watch TV, and I'm not really a great film watcher. I haven't even watched any of the witchy movies that people talk about. But recently, me and my middle daughter, Poppy, we've been having evenings where the two of us have been watching things on Netflix. And both of us adored a Netflix show called The Queen's Gambit, which is about chess and addiction and focus and obsession. And for me, I think that does link to magical practice, because the focus required to gain that skill acquisition for chess is just something that I recognise as an artist for a start, but I also recognise that focus as required in a witchcraft practice. And it's made me want to learn chess again to develop focus, which I think will help in my practice. So our Star Wars chess set is out, and I've even bought some beginners books to help us learn some openers. I don't mind being a beginner, see, so bring the battle on. Question number 11, do you have a familiar? Well, I'm going to draw the distinction between familiars and pets, because a family pet is part of the family that you wouldn't necessarily use within a magic practice. So I have two pets. I have two rescue lurchers who if you've watched my channel, you will have seen them. Rupert is now 4 years old. He was found abandoned on a traveller's site by himself, nearly starving. He came to me skeletal at 3 months old, still unable to feed properly because he'd been so starved. He's now a bounding, healthy bundle of speed, excitement and love. To try and stop Rupert racing off every time he spotted a dog, because he loves dogs, I thought, let's get another lurcher that he can run with, and it might keep them next to me on a walk. So a year later, Luna came into our life. Again, a rescue lurcher from the same rescue, Many Tears dog rescue, right at the top of Wales. She had a similar story, abandoned on a traveller's side. A passerby in a car had spotted a box by the side of the road. As they were driving past, a puppy popped its head out. The box was full of a litter of puppies, all left abandoned, all nearly frozen to death. Luna was one of those puppies. She came to me at 4 months old. Rupert immediately decided that he adored her. It was his baby. The pair of them have been inseparable ever since. But I don't class them as familiars. They are my pets. And to be honest, if I tried to do spell work and include them in my magical practice, Luna is so dippy, we'd probably end up projecting ourselves to some weird part of the astral realm, never to return ever again. It would be a disaster. Now, question number 12 is, would I recommend any YouTube channels? Well, there are just so many. There's Trish over at Beanbaghagwag. She is just a complete delight. I also love Mixtress Ray. I love Meg over at Rose Honey Ritual. Sylvain over at Sylvain Deadly Sins. Just love them all. Renee over at Metal Art Mystics. You've got Julie at Peekaboo Rose. Just love them. Just such wonderful people. Thea over at Garden Goddess Tarot. She is wonderful. If you're into art, there's Sandy Hester, who I love. She's an art channel. If you want to see gardens used within a honouring of Mother Gaia, then you have Beltane Cottage, which I adore. Lovely channels. I love Lennon over at Lennon Smith. Hanny at Fierce and Pretty. So many that are just wonderful, wonderful channels. Question number 13. Name something you must do daily for your mental, emotional well-being or for your practice. Well, that's really easy. For my mental and emotional well-being, there is something that I know personally for me I need to do every day, which I'm not doing at the moment, which is exercise. I used to be a big hiker, wild camper. I would race half marathons and 10Ks, but half marathon is my distance that I love. Running every day, 100 miles plus a week. I also used to train as part of a fitness team in a gym, trying to get to competitive level, so super fit. But with trauma and different things in life imploding, a huge weight gain has stopped me doing that, which I've spoken about before on this channel. And the exercising has stopped. And then you've got the idea of, you know, what you're capable of doing. The exercise and the running at the minute, I can't do at the minute through injury and the weight as well. I have a disabled daughter, so I am very well aware that not everybody has a body that can access exercise either. So I am loath to say that I must be exercising for my practice, because I know that not everybody has a body that allows them to exercise daily. But it did mention it, and here I'm working through The Apprentice Book 1 at the moment, and it talked about energy flow and the fact that we need to, as witches, have a practice of being able to control energy. If we are not exercising or not stretching our bodies, then our own energy flow can become disrupted, and I do feel that at the moment. So having read this, I have also now linked it to my practice, and I think in whatever capacity that you could either stretch or exercise or move for your ability, then I think that should be done daily. Now, I cannot run a 13-mile race at the moment. I am too heavy at the moment to even go out and run a mile. So I've started walking. I've also got exercise equipment that I've started using. You can see that there are red threads hanging off them. This is because I had a vision in meditation of red threads growing out of my feet in the garden and connecting to the power of Mother Earth to ground me, because feeling ungrounded and unsettled is one of the things that leads me to eat in the first place. So my witchcraft practice is also coming into play now to help me to get past this blockage that I've got. So for me, exercise and stretching is something that I now know I must do, even if I have limitations at the moment and need to work within those limitations. Question number 14. What is something that started as an obstacle but that you now see as a blessing? I think I'm going to choose my age for that. I'm 53 this year, and I've only been walking this path for a few years. So when I came to it, I felt a little bit like playing catch up, like I was too old. But like I've said already in this video, I've realised that the layers of my life experience were already lapping over each other to form a spiritual practice for me. I just hadn't recognised it until I actually stepped onto this path. So life experience that comes with age, it is now a blessing. I am a very blessed and happy crone. Question number 15. Which do you prefer? YouTube, Instagram, Facebook or TikTok? Well, Instagram needs to get their act together with helping people who are being scammed. All of the scam accounts are just a nightmare. Facebook I find difficult because I think there's a lot of fighting and deception on Facebook. TikTok, I've only just gone on. If I can work out how to link my account, which is more art, I'll try and link it below, but I might not be able to work it out. But I love YouTube. I love a longer format. I like the visuals of YouTube. I like the fact that you also get to hear people talking on YouTube more than Instagram. So YouTube is my platform of choice. Question number 16. What do you think is missing from our witchy community? I think it might be a bit presumptuous for me, so new to it, to make any comment. I would love to see more minimalism in the witchy community. I am so seduced by packed altars, and putting some film together for this video made me miss my altars because I've been decluttering, but I'm certain there's a way to do it that's more minimal. So a minimalist witch, a minimalist art witch, that would be a thing to see. Perhaps I'm going to eventually fill the gap, who knows. Question 17. How much space do you use for supplies and spell work? Not a lot of space. I think I've got this bureau behind me that's got a few candles in, and I've got a few jars that I collect. So I don't really need that much space, to be honest. Having said that though, I've got a huge conservatory that's full of all my art supplies. So I suppose if you're thinking spellcraft, I've got a loft full of canvases as well. Okay, I might need a lot of space because my art supplies are my spellcrafting. Number 18. How many altars do you have in your home? Well, my whole house and my garden really is just a living, working altar. But if I had to hone it down, I have my tarot and spell bureau upstairs, which I've recently put together as part of the decluttering, because I got rid of my big altar that I used to do Sabbat displays on like these I'm showing now, and collecting these old videos back together again. Like I said, it did really make me miss these great big altars for the Sabbats, but truthfully they weren't getting used that much, so I've condensed it down to this little writing bureau where I sit and journal and meditate and work with my tarot. I've also got a tiny little space where my jewellery hangs, which is for deity, so 2 altars upstairs now. I have a altar in here in the tarot room, which is a piece of wood over my dog crates, where I build Lego spells and tarot card Lego displays, which you can see here. Also above this table on the wall are some shelves where I've got some pictures and crystals for some ancestor work. Also in the woods, I've claimed the stump of the fallen tree that I used to go to weekly, now as an outdoor altar. Question number 19, what is your favourite Sabbat? Well, I love Yule because I'm a big kid at heart. You might have noticed from all the toys around the house. Plus we get to decorate. The 3 kids are so excited at Yule too. I love that sparkly, twinkly decoration that Yule just frees you up to go crazy with, which I love. But I also love Imbolc in February, which we've just had. Bridget is one of the deities that I work with, and I just love that time of year. Of course, I'm a gardener as well. You've got the promise of spring beginning to come in at Imbolc, and that excitement of planting seeds and making fresh plans for the next growing season for the garden. Plus I've got my caravan in Wales, and working with the sea is also a big part of my practice. But the season doesn't open till March, so Imbolc and spring, we're getting close to the garden and the sea coming back into my practice. So question number 20, do you prefer tarot, runes, oracle decks or pendulums? Well, I've only just received my first pendulum as a gift and I've not used it yet, so I don't know about that. But the others, runes, I'm still wanting to learn, and oghams as well. So really it's tarot and oracle, but tarot and oracle with charm casting because it just has my heart. And of course I'm an art witch. So this is one of my latest decks that a beautiful friend Shannon gave me. This is the Avatar, Tarot Avatar, the Frida Kahlo Tarot. You've already seen my grimoire before. Frida Kahlo is just a massive part of my life and always has been. So tarot and oracle has a way of spanning both my art witch practice and divination because of the art within it. I'm also trying to draw my own decks. I have a moon deck that I'm currently working through. This is watercolour with ink work over the top, and I'm just loving it, taking inspiration from the different moons. We're just working slowly, no rush. This is the Queen of Swords you see here. This was inspiration for the 5 of Cups that came to me. And you can see the octopus energy coming in. And then this was last year doing oil paintings for the start of my toy tarot that I'm working on. I think all through this video you've seen my fascination with toys and the meanings that toys can hold. Also here again is that layering of art practice, layering with my divination and witchcraft practice. Tarot and art, a perfect combination. Some decks manage to span everything: art, tarot, witchcraft and my garden, which is another, of course, huge part of my practice. But look at this, it's art, it's the garden, it's my practice, it spans everything. It's that layering that I spoke of before. So I really can't choose between oracle or tarot. I love them both, with the charms on the top as well. It's just fabulous. And am I out of the broom closet? Well, to be honest, there are very few people that would care what I did, to be honest. I am very insular in my life as a special needs single mom. There isn't a lot of time for me to socialise with people, and I think I'm quite open about everything I've gone through, and it gets shown in my art as well. So I would find it very hard to keep anything that I am passionate about, and I am passionate about my walk in this practice, to keep that quiet. I can't really keep anything quiet. I'm a chronic oversharer, which is great for YouTube, I suppose. And lastly, who am I going to tag in this video? Well, Lennon Smith. I think she would do a fabulous job. Thea over at Garden Goddess Tarot. What about tagging you? Because I know that you have a practice within the garden as well. Basically, anybody watching that wants to do it, I would love to have you spill the beans too. So that's it, guys. 22 questions to spill the beans on. If you did want to watch some other videos that I mentioned in here, I'm going to put some boxes around now so that you can go and have a look. But thanks so much for watching, guys. Subscribe if you're not already. It really helps me out here, and I'll see you next time. Bye.